Good afternoon, sir. I take this opportunity, first of all, to thank the organization ISRO on behalf of Sona College of Technology for giving us this opportunity, a challenging opportunity of designing and developing the brushless DC motor to be used in one of your spacecraft applications, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And I also take this opportunity to thank the entire team of ISRO scientists for sparing their time to come over here and participate in the function for receiving the motor developed by us. In the next 10-15 minutes, we would like to interact with you to know further on how ISRO helps in associating with the academic institutions, specifically to enrich, rather enhance the students' knowledge in the coming years, particularly in the space science. I would like to start with asking what is ISRO's plans for the next 5 years, sir?
Yeah, all of you know that today we are having launch vehicles like PSLV and GSLV. So they are the launch vehicles used for launching the satellite. And we have plans to have a bigger launch vehicle that's called GSLV Mark III, which can put around 4 to 5 tons in the geostationary orbit, GTO, compared to the present GSLV, which is only 2 tons. So that is a heavy lift launcher. And then we are going to use for bigger satellites like 4-ton satellites, which are going to be built from ISRO. And the satellite side, we are now embarking on programs for social activities as well as communication related activities. And there are a number of transponder requirements are going day by day. So we are planning to augment our satellites so they can be leased out. Number of transponder lines will be leased out. So total requirement will be met with indigenous launches. And the next one is for the remote sensing. That is also gaining more and more popularity. And for that also we are going the high resolution sensing, remote sensing with 1 meter, 0.8 meter type of resolutions, and which will be useful for imaging the India as well as by assessing the water resource and all those applications. And social activities concerned, tele-education, telemedicine, all those things are getting popular now. So those things also we are trying to expand with a number of terminals so that it will be useful for the human community. So the launch vehicle program, other than these expendable launches, we have plans to have reusable launch vehicles. It's called RLV, which it will be, major portion of that it will come back, which can be reused, not in one flight, it can be in multiple flights. So we can reduce the cost of launching. It's a low cost access to the space, that is a motto. So that also we are having plans. Then of course we are embarked on a manned mission. Naturally a human is going to be put in the orbit, and this is something we expect maybe 2010 with the help of some foreign country, and maybe by 2015 we'll have our own launch with man. So these are the activities which is going on in launch vehicle area as of now.
As we read from newspapers and hear from media, that a lot of new countries have now started investing in the space research. And they've got a lot of very innovative and challenging programs in cards. And in that regard, where are we standing, sir, our country, in terms of competency and expertise in the field of space? Where do we stand?
Our space program is more than 30 years old, 40 years, nearly 40 years old. So we have started with small rockets and we have graduated to equally competent. Okay, now we are equally competent to any of the developed countries. You say we are sixth in launching, launch vehicle and communication, satellites building, and we have end-to-end capability. We have a satellite making it, launch making and launching, a spaceport, everything is in India. Comparatively, some of the countries have only satellite making and depend on launching for somebody else. And most of the countries which embark are of this type. So in the core launch vehicle area, very few countries only is putting efforts. So particularly if we see that manned space program, we are going to be the fourth one to get into the orbit. So that way, okay, our competency, if you take it, it is on par with spacefaring nations, other spacefaring nations.
Having developed this BLDC motor, we now feel that we could meet your expectations. ISR was stringent quality expectations. Can you please tell us, how do we fare in terms of your requirements, in terms of our capability to meet countries' most, how should I put it, successful or most important mission?
Hitherto, so far, we were importing these motors, okay, to say. Okay, we were trying to indigenize, and some of the industries already we are in touch, and then we were doing that, okay. Of course, we have flown some one or two indigenous motors which has been built in India in the PSLV launch vehicle. But this type of motor, what we are talking about, is a highly reliable and then high capacity, and which I think as such nobody is making in India, and then we are depending on foreign source. And when you have seen the capability wise, what is shown by Sona technology, we thought this is a better opportunity to work together and to come out with a motor which can be used for our launch vehicle program. We see that total requirements have been worked out and mutually discussed. And now I'm happy to say that Sona College is able to realize this system with the quality requirements what we require, as well as it's able to meet the specifications. And of course, we are planning to have some more models, maybe flight models, which also can be fabricated. Parallelly, having this experience, we are enlarging the scope by adding some more motors, like stepper motors, one of them, which are used in our cryo program, as well as brushless DC motors, which are used in the small actuators, which are in PSLV. So that way, we are enlarging the scope, and then we are trying to work out the designs coming out from the institution, and then production will be able to make it either inside Sona technology or some industry. So now we are sure, I think this can be taken up by the college, Sona technology, and this type of designs we need not look for any import. And any future requirements on these lines, Sona technology capability can be used in realizing the system.